Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Between the Lines. As always, I'm Nishant, and I'm joined by my two co-hosts. We got Dan and Jad. How you guys doing tonight on this fine evening?
Good, good. How are
What
you?
a do, baby?
Doing pretty good, pretty good. Just some news to start off the podcast. Jad, you're coming off a really good win in the second round of the playoffs. How you feeling after that?
A round two thriller took it to PKs. You can't make this stuff up. Crazy,
Yeah,
crazy night.
insane shot on the last PK. Got it on video. We stormed the field. It was a pretty fun moment. What about you, Dan?
Wild.
Anything exciting going on?
Not really. Just grinding, man. Business as
Yeah,
usual.
I feel you. Well, we'll kick things off with our Week 10 NFL podcast today with a little voicemail call. But after that, we got some new signings, including Odell and Cam Newton. We'll talk about the Titans, and we'll also give some insight into some running back news, especially with the Derrick Henry injury. What does that do for the rest of the league? And we'll end things off with a little bit of a little rookie talk. So without further ado, I'll kick it off and just pass it to Dan, who'll start off with the voicemail.
What's up, boys? Big fan. Got a quick question for y'all. What does the signing of Cam Newton do / bring for a 4-5 Panthers team?
Okay, I like that question. Obviously, Cam just got signed today with the Panthers. He obviously started his career there, played about, what is it, almost 10 seasons there before he got released, but won MVP in 2015. So, I mean, off of initial thoughts, Jad, what was your first reaction when you saw that news?
Um, yeah. So, if I'm being honest here, after watching Cam for a full season last year, I think it's clear that he's not a starter in this league at this point. I know. I don't know who I was talking to this about, but we talked about him maybe being like a Tyson Hill on steroids kind of player, but I don't think I think where that discussion led was we didn't think Cam would be able to accept that role. Like he sees himself as a starter in this league, so I think if Cam went to a Wildcat, potentially that could end well. But I see Sam Darnold keeping his job here.
I honestly disagree with that because Darnold's been pretty bad this year. But if nothing else, it's gonna be a pretty fun experience. He's definitely not like the 2015 MVP that we saw, but I still think that he is an elite playmaker with his legs, hence the with his legs part. And even in like the preseason this year, he still showed that he had like a little bit of like juice in his arm. But I still think that he can like hide some of his deficiencies with his athleticism. I mean, he's only what 30, 32, I think. He's 32 years old. He's still got a couple years ahead of him, and he can pretty much distribute the ball to his playmakers in a way that I think Sam Darnold just could not do. I don't like Sam Darnold at all. I think he's a bust. And I think he's an insane upgrade over Sam Darnold.
Wow.
Really?
All right.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah, hot take.
I think Sam Darnold started off the year good, and it was kind of funny. Everybody saying like, "Oh, Carolina finally found that quarterback." Like it was the Jets all along. That was the reason Sam Darnold wasn't really playing all that well. But yeah, these past couple of weeks, he's really just been flat out bad. And I'd like to say I'm surprised by the move, but I don't really think I am. Cam Newton's coming back. It doesn't really, make me jump out of my seat because I don't think Cam is that good of a player anymore. So I don't even think that he's gonna make all that much of an impact for, like David said, the 4-5 Panthers. So I don't know. I don't really see this going anywhere.
Yeah, if I can
Yeah,
add
so
something into that,
yeah, go ahead.
I think what I've seen with Cam when he was playing with the Patriots, even when they would struggle, I think Cam had complete. He had faith from the locker room. I think he's someone that really connects with guys, and I think he's someone that players like to play with. So even if he's not on the fields 100% of the downs, I think what he'll add to the locker room is actually pretty big. So
Yeah, and
Good point.
he just got signed today. He's not going to be active for Sunday. They're going to start PJ Walker. They're
Mhm.
sitting at 4-5. They're last in their division. They got the Cardinals this week. I'm going to say it's a loss, especially when they're starting Walker. But
is
when you look at
Darnold
their
hurt?
schedule, yeah, Darnold's hurt.
Yep.
He's out for like
Uh,
6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks.
wow.
I didn't know it was
Yeah.
that long.
So
Yeah. Not,
when you look at their schedule, their last what is it, 7 games, they got Washington, Miami, they got the Falcons, then they got the Bills and Buccaneers. So I think this three stretch of games, Washington, Miami, and Atlanta, those are three really winnable games. I think if you can start Cam those 3 games and maybe get 2 wins, you maybe move up to third place in the division, maybe get a win against the Falcons to get a divisional win, and maybe you upset the Bills or Bucks, maybe clutch out a win against the Saints in the second to last week, and maybe you're sitting at like 8 and 9, and maybe you're fighting for a playoff spot. So that's why I really like the Cam signing. I think he brings to that team, especially like Jad said, the leadership, the locker room presence, the veteran presence, especially. And obviously, when he made the Super Bowl with Ron Rivera in 2015, that whole coaching staff is pretty much gone. But I think he is a huge factor behind that. So that's why I think that he can take the Panthers to at least compete for a playoff spot, even though they're kind of out of it right now. Yes, as we wrap up about Cam Newton, we also saw another star get signed. We saw Odell Beckham Jr. get picked up by the Rams on a 1-year, $4.25 million contract. Includes a $500,000 signing bonus and another $500,000 if they win the Super Bowl. But as of right now, just off of, again, first glance, Dan, what's your initial thoughts on this signing?
Yeah, I think this is a little bit more interesting than the Cam Newton signing. I think that Odell has a little bit more left in the tank than Cam does. Well, more than a little bit, I would say, argue that a lot more left in the tank. I think Odell still evidently has some years left. Not prime years, but I think he does have some good years left. And especially given that he's going to be in an offense that features Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Van Jefferson, a lot of other weapons there, and obviously Matt Stafford as the quarterback. So there's no more bad quarterback excuse for Odell. So I'm really interested to see how this goes. Is he the wide receiver 2 or 3? I'll let you guys answer that. But
I'll say Jad would hope that he's the wide receiver 3 because of Robert Woods, but I think he'll be wide receiver 3 there. I don't think there's
I agree.
any chance that he takes any targets away from Kupp or Woods. He shouldn't. I don't think he's earned that yet. So,
Well, that's actually pretty surprising to me. I thought by this signing, I don't think he would be as confident signing there compared to like a Green Bay. If he thought that he would be that number 3, I think when they made this deal with him, they told him it's going to be him and Kupp, and I think that'd be a big deal for someone like Odell. So I could see a world where he's the number 2, but yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Or they sit him down and they're like, "Yeah, we just picked up Von Miller. We're gonna win a Super Bowl. Like, you sign with us, you're gonna get a ring."
Yeah, I don't think
Like,
Odell's that kind of ring chasing guy
I
at this point in his
I
career.
don't know.
I think I'd
Like,
agree. Yeah,
yeah.
I think he's a little bit too young for that. I don't see him being that guy. I think he still wants to have like some good statistical seasons because that was the whole reason for the downfall in Cleveland, where like his dad was saying, "Oh, he's not getting the ball, and he's not really getting targeted, and even when he does get targeted, he's not getting those really accurate throws thrown at him." So I think Odell kind of wants to pad his stats, which is why I was surprised that he didn't go to a Saints or a Packers where he'd be a little bit more featured, I think, in the offense.
Yep.
But
I think he definitely didn't go to the Saints because James got injured. That's definitely one reason.
Good point.
Yeah, adding to that a little bit, if he wants to just ring chase, like the Browns are a good team, so I think he clearly wants his touches, and that's why it was a little surprising to me. But we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I feel like I think I said 2 episodes ago that the best spot would have been the Saints, obviously before Winston got injured. But I don't really see what the point of going to LA was other than ring chasing, because you guys are saying he wants to pad the stats, but when you have 2 guys that have been with the team longer, known the system longer, they're obviously going to get more targets. They've played with Stafford longer, so I don't see how that's going to help him get stats if that's what he wants. He's going to get a ring out of this. I don't.
Yeah, it's a fair
That's
point.
why. Yeah. But we're talking about Odell. What do you guys think this puts the Rams at, especially in a pretty competitive NFC?
I think it just keeps them at the top. I like the Rams to win the NFC. They're coming off a pretty tough loss to the Titans, and we'll get into that. But I don't think that really is a kink in the train for the Rams. I think they're going to win the NFC, and I think that this move just further cements them in that.
Yeah, solid. What about you, Jed?
Yeah, I'm with Dan here. I mean, the rich get richer, and this just shows. I mean, Matt Stafford is my MVP prediction, and that's just looking better now. So I think just the rich get richer, and they'll still at the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah, so I'll just go through a list of names that the Rams have acquired, and some they haven't kept, but some they've kept along the years that they've had Sean McVay. So they got Sean McVay, I think 2016 or 2017, and since then they've traded for Stafford, Jalen Ramsey, Marcus Peters, Von Miller, and Brandon Cooks. They signed Odell, Ndamukong Suh, and Leonard Floyd. So I think that just goes to show how much respect that players have for McVay and that front office in general. And I think they have a bright future, at least for right now, because obviously they have to win. If they don't win, they're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
But they're going for it, and I like that. That's what I love to see.
I mean, players like that LA weather. So.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And I just saw like I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 o'clock. I saw a tweet from Jalen Ramsey, and he retweeted something that he tweeted before they traded for Von Miller. He tweeted that same thing. So everyone was like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And then literally an hour later, they say that Odell signs with them. So it's just like it was kind of funny.
Wild stuff, man.
The Jalen Ramsey superstitions, but yeah, moving on to an AFC team that just beat the Rams. We'll talk about the Tennessee Titans, who, in my opinion, I think they're the best team in the AFC right now.
Wow.
Hot take. But I think they have the best offense. I think even without Derrick Henry, they're still playing like the best offense. An improved defense that I thought was going to be lackluster, but it's been great. They've had Tannehill, who stepped into the top 10 conversation. I had him as a top 15. He's definitely top 10 right now. And especially when they're in a horrible AFC South division, easy playoff lock. I'd say easy. If I were to give a team a playoff lock right now, I'd give it to the Titans.
So Titans have, definitely been flying under the radar this year. They're 7-2. In their past 4 games, they've beaten the Rams, the Colts, the Chiefs, and the Bills. So that's 3 of the best teams projected heading into the season that they've beaten just in the last 4 games. Obviously, with the Rams, Derrick Henry being out. I am very interested in this team. I don't know if they're going to make too much noise in the playoffs, but yeah, like you said, I think they're a playoff lock. I don't see the Colts really making a step towards that, even though their schedule is a little bit easier the remainder of the season.
Yeah. And especially when you're the Colts, you got to think about the Wentz stuff. Because if the Titans are just rolling through and the Colts don't have a chance, you might think about sitting Wentz so that you can keep that pick and not let the Eagles take that.
That'd be a bad look, though. That's just something I don't think you could really do. Like, how do you justify that to your fan base and your coaching staff that, oh yeah, we're just going to bench Carson Wentz for the last 5 games of the season because we want this pick? Like 5 games is a lot, and I think the Colts are going to be in the running enough to the point where they can't bench him. So they're in an awkward situation now.
Yeah. I see that. What about you, Jed? What are your thoughts on the Titans right now?
Oh, I really like that team. I think their one question was that defense, and as we've seen, that defense just has been electric. I mean, against the Rams, that was really something. Kind of ruined an exciting game there. But I think Derrick Henry not being there and them clicking is just gonna make him that much scarier going into the playoffs. But what we haven't really talked about is what if Derrick Henry's out for the year? I think his timetable of coming back is kind of questionable right now. So I think we're all assuming that he'll be back before the playoffs, but I don't know. If he comes back, I think they're I don't want to say Super Bowl lock, but I want to see maybe AFC Championship lock, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, and obviously when we saw Derrick Henry go down, they brought in Adrian Peterson, who had a great game against the Rams. He scored a touchdown. He honestly played a lot better than I thought he had than he would. He had 10 carries, I think only 20 yards, but still had a touchdown. Great difference maker. I think he's at, 36, 37 years old?
45.
He's old, man.
He's old.
Yeah.
He's old, man. I remember when he was playing with the Redskins. He was a beast. He had the one highlight of Mark Sanchez's career when he took a 90-yarder to the house. That was crazy. But yeah, as we talk about Derrick Henry, we'll go along some other running back news, including let's go our top running backs. If you were to give like a top 3 running back, your top 3 running backs, who would you guys go with?
So McCaffrey's coming back now. I think you have to put McCaffrey in as just an overall running back. I would put Jonathan Taylor in right now, despite not even getting 20 rushing attempts a game. He's been putting up. He's put up at least 100 yards from scrimmage in every single one of his past 6 games. So whether it be passing yards or rushing yards, he's just a phenomenal runner of the football. And we'll get into that debate too. Just overall running back versus pure runner of the football. But I would say, McCaffrey, I think you have to put in there. Jonathan Taylor, and other than that, I guess probably Kamara. I don't know. I'm blanking.
So we're going like outside of Derrick Henry, right? So
outside of Derrick Henry.
Okay.
With Derrick Henry now out, yeah.
Yeah. So I'd have that same list, except I'd replace McCaffrey with Chubb. I like Nick Chubb more just because he's a better pure runner.
Wow.
I don't know.
McCaffrey's in top 3.
I don't think he's top 3. I think injuries have hurt him a lot, but that's just
with him
take.
coming back though. I'm not saying this whole season. I'm saying with him coming back, like currently as we speak.
I know.
What do you think, Jed?
I still like Chubb.
All right, so I'm gonna definitely go McCaffrey, and I'm gonna go because we can't go Derrick Henry. I want to go maybe Dalvin Cook, but he's got too many injuries, so I'm gonna go Kamara. I think even though Kamara got hurt, I think he would have been a massive part to that offense, especially without Winston. And it's a bummer to see all these running backs getting hurt, so then for my third one, I'm gonna go that boy Dame Time. Like, kill me.
Wow,
get mad
of course,
all you want.
of
but
course.
How many games in a row has it been with this?
It wouldn't be fitting without a Jad preposterous Patriots take.
Hey, you'll see, man. Keep that same energy. All I'm gonna say.
All right, so Jonathan Taylor just died.
I don't know why you guys didn't mention Jonathan Taylor. That was honestly the whole point I wanted to have this freaking segment because I think Jonathan Taylor.
Can I mention that Jonathan Taylor is on Danny's fantasy team?
Oh, how'd you know? How'd you know?
And isn't Damian Harris on your team?
He actually isn't. Yeah. But he's on my team.
On your favorite team.
Oh, I mean, fair enough.
Jonathan Taylor's becoming one of my favorite players in the league. Absolutely electrifying to watch. And I think, with this whole running back discussion, Kamara, Ingram now has been brought in to the Saints. And that was interesting. They were pretty much splitting touches in New Orleans in that last game, which is going to be an interesting storyline to watch. And now Kamara is banged up. Yeah, Dalvin Cook hasn't been that great this year. He's dealt with some injuries. And I think Jonathan Taylor, when you talk about pure runners of the football, I would put Jonathan Taylor up in that discussion. Before it was, I think, between Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb. And again, I would add Jonathan Taylor to that discussion. I think with Derrick Henry out, I would actually put Jonathan Taylor at 1 because he's so fast, he's so physical, he has all the tools necessary to be an elite running back, and he's not even getting the volume that a Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, of years past, Kamara would get. He's only getting 18, 17, 19 touches on the ground a game. So I think he's going to be a really good player to watch and a good player for years to come.
Yeah, well, we're looking at like the best running backs right now. We'll go on like the flip side or not talk about like the best, but who do you guys think are like underappreciated or underrated running backs in general?
Underrated running backs? Ooh, good question. Come back to me on this. Who do you got?
I got a couple that come to mind. I got like Darrell Henderson out of LA.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say like Damian Harris out of New England, and also Michael Carter in New York. I think he's having a great rookie year. Jad, do you have any underrated running backs other than guys on the Patriots? Because I know you're gonna say like 3 of them. But...
I was gonna go with Ramondre Stevenson here, but because of that last comment, maybe James Robinson. I think he started to get some love this year, but he's kind of a dog. And then maybe Austin Eckler will be my second choice for that.
I like Eckler.
I like Eckler.
He's definitely stepped it up this year in a pretty high-powered Chargers, offense. But I think he's solidified his spot as a top 10 running back for sure.
Yeah. I think I would. I guess I'd probably go with a maybe James Conner. James Conner stepped up, especially in the red zone. He's been a good red zone threat. For
he's
that
the goal line
Cardinals team.
god. The goal line god.
And he had a phenomenal game last game.
I
Nishan knows
benched
a
him.
thing or two about
I
that. Yeah,
benched him.
we're gonna move on from that.
Lost by 24 points, and I could have played James Conner one single-handedly just from that. But it's all right.
Yeah. I mean, now with what is it? Edwards out. Chase Edmonds out.
Chase Edmonds, yeah.
We're gonna see what James Conner can really do as that lead back again. So that'll be interesting to watch. But I would say, yeah, as a power back, I would also put in probably Joe Mixon to that discussion.
Oh,
he's
he's actually had a really good year this year.
He's had a really good year too. He's done a lot in the passing game and has been another guy that has been getting a lot of touchdowns for the Bengals team, who's been a good team as well.
Like the past 2 years, I've always taken Mixon in like the 3rd or 4th round, thinking that he would have a good year, maybe even like a 2nd round. He just bust, and now everyone passed on him this year in our league. I don't know who picked him up, but he's actually been pretty good.
Yeah.
But,
hey Dan, no Miles Sanders on that list, yeah?
No, Miles Sanders has been not great. Well, okay.
Well, he's been good. I have him on my
He's been good. He's been averaging
good when he gets the dang ball.
What's so funny to me is that Miles Sanders gets injured, and then the Eagles start to run the ball, and they start to run it by committee with Boston Scott and Jordan. I thought about even mentioning Jordan Howard, but it's only been 2 games. But he's been very good. He literally got picked up. He got picked up from the practice squad, and the day after he got picked up, he was the lead back for the Eagles. And Kenny Gainwell went from 2nd on the depth chart to 4th. So Boston Scott and Jordan Howard, and you throw in a little bit of Kenny Gainwell in that, and the Eagles have just become a run-dominant team with the snap of the fingers within 1 week, and a Miles Sanders injury, their best running back, who they drafted in the 2nd round and was very promising as a rookie.
Something fishy going on in that organization.
There's totally something fishy going on. I don't know what it is, but it took an injury to your best running back to start running the ball. Very
wild stuff in Philly.
Yeah. So we're talking about the best guys, maybe underrated guys. Now we'll flip the switch and go on guys who you think have disappointed this year. I got a couple guys that come to mind. Guy like Antonio Gibson, he's been pretty much a disappointment. Got Dalvin Cook's been a disappointment. I think even like Josh Jacobs. But who would you guys say are disappointments this year?
Yeah, Nish, funny you say that because 2 of those guys you mentioned are on my fantasy team, or were at one point, like my 2nd overall pick. But I'm also gonna go maybe a guy like Robert Woods, who I've spoke enough. I've put his name in my mouth too many times.
I didn't know Robert Woods played running back.
Jonnu Smith here.
I thought we were talking running backs.
Yeah, running backs.
Oh, I thought we were done with running backs.
No, we'll stick with the running back. Who's a disappointing running back, Chad, this year for you? Any team.
All right. Give me a minute here, Dan. You could take him for.
Okay, I mean, yeah, Nishan, you took the names right out of my mouth. Dalvin Cook, Miles Sanders, Antonio Gibson. Those guys have kind of flopped, and yeah, some of them have dealt with injuries. But I would say I'd also add Saquon to that list, who's dealt with injuries Saquon, too. Obviously. Dealt with injuries again, but yeah, I would say those guys, you expected a little bit more. So the best ability is availability. So I would say, yeah, factor that in.
Yep. Chad, you got anyone right now after a minute?
Maybe like maybe Josh Jacobs. I like that pick. He's on my fantasy team, and I think after his first season or 2, we all thought he was going to be kind of that cowbell kind of back, but it just hasn't worked out. Also thinking a little more, maybe Myles Gaskin. I remember I did draft him and expected him to blow up.
They brought in Kenyon Drake, right? The Raiders.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so I can see why Josh Jacobs has struggled a bit, but I still think he was like a top 10 running back going into this year. I would have put him top 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
We had a lot of hot takes this episode. Man,
I don't know about that, man. Okay.
Yeah, but when we look at some other guys I think have been surprising, I look at some of these rookies, like Ty Johnson. He's been a great surprise.
He's a rookie?
Yeah.
For the Jets?
I think so. Let me check. Am I confusing him with Michael Carter?
You probably are.
Ty Johnson. It says he is. Oh, he's not a rookie. My fault. But yeah,
Michael
I'm
Carter.
confusing him.
We get it.
Michael Carter, that guy,
Yeah.
And Chuba Hubbard.
Yep.
I really liked him. Elijah Mitchell's been pretty good too. And
Yeah,
while we're on
if
the
I can
topic,
double
yeah,
down
go
on
ahead.
my Miles Gaskin pick right there. He's
Yeah, go ahead.
actually right now against the Ravens in that pooper of a game, 6-3, Ravens losing. Miles Gaskin has 8 attempts for 10 yards.
Love to see it playing against him in fantasy.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. So like another guy that pops out is like Khalil Herbert. So while we're on the topic of like rookies that have been sort of surprising, we're gonna talk about like our best surprising rookie in general. So I'll start off with mine. I took a little bit of time to go through this, but I like one name that stood out, and that was Pat Friarmath out of Pittsburgh, tight end, second round pick out of Penn State. And 8 games into his first NFL season, this was written last week, but I found the stat. He's put up compelling numbers to make a case for maybe offensive rookie of the year. I don't think he will, obviously. But he's fourth on the team, 27 catches. He has 245 receiving yards, and he has 4 touchdowns. Honestly, a great start for a rookie tight end. What about you guys?
So I think, yeah, as you mentioned, there's been a lot of most notably rookie running backs to step up. So Michael Carter, we mentioned. I thought about doing him as my number one surprise. Yeah, Michael Carter, Hubbard,
Ramondre Stevens.
Khalil Herbert, Ramondre Stevenson. I'll give you that. But I would say for my like top surprise player, I'm gonna go with Gregory Rousseau. So coming into the draft, Rousseau was kind of my bus waiting to happen. The dude was stiff as a board at the combine, and honestly, I didn't think he had much polish coming into the draft. He had, I think, 15 sacks or something, like in his only year in college at University of Miami. But yeah, I thought he was a bust waiting to happen, and he has 3 sacks so far, 19 solo tackles in eight games for the Bills.
Solid.
Yeah, so real solid,
Not
and I
bad
was
at all.
very
Has
surprised,
an
including
interception too.
interception. He had a 2-sack game week 2 against Miami, so
Yeah.
I've been pretty surprised with him.
Yeah. What about you, Jed?
Yeah, you could go maybe Jamar Chase. You know, there's a lot of easy options here, but I'm going the man. I'm going that guy. I'm going Mac Jones. I mean, best quarterback this draft class. Best quarterback in the last 5 draft classes. I mean, he's up next.
Bold.
I would
Bold,
even say
very
he's
bold.
in that category, that top 15 category among quarterbacks right now. I mean, he's a
Honestly,
game manager. He
to be
is.
honest,
I
I wouldn't be mad if you put Mac Jones at 15. To be honest with you, I could probably name 15 worse quarterbacks than Mac Jones
like
right now.
tell me you'd rather have Kirk Cousins on your roster than Mac Jones.
I'd
Yeah,
rather have
honestly,
Kirk Cousins than Mac Jones.
I'd rather have Mac Jones. If
Oh,
we're
wow.
are we talking about this year or like future?
If we're talking about now, Kirk Cousins.
Okay, if we're talking about now, Kirk Cousins, obviously.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about like future, I definitely have Mac Jones.
Back to my argument. I mean, he has listened to all the hate about him, that low ceiling take that everyone loves to take. But I mean, he's just proved everyone wrong. And the thing I love most about him is when he makes a bad play, he lets you know. Like he is clearly upset about it. He doesn't just like walk off the field. Like he is angry without. I remember in this game against Carolina, he misses a throw and he walks to the bench and they're already clearly winning the game and he's pissed off about it, which just I love that. And so
I mean,
it might not be the right
think,
pick, but I'd take any chance I get to talk
think
about my guy.
he can also get a little bit too angry with that little play on Brian Burns.
Oh my God! Don't even. If I can take a minute here, Brian Burns is an embarrassment to any defensive lineman or offensive lineman. Like, why is this man crying about a quarterback twisting his little ankle and him doing a whole ballerina twirl in midair? Like, this dude's an embarrassment. He's asking for an apology, and he's making a threat, trying to tell other defenders to hit Mac. Come on, man! Embarrassing. God. Not a fan of Brian Burns. Embarrassing.
Well, all right. So we all got different sides that I say, but yeah. So
Sorry for
that was you good? You good?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just sick of seeing this stuff on my feed. Come on.
At least you got the dub though.
Dude is like
24-6.
250. Have you seen Mac Jones without his shirt on? You're complaining about this man hurting your little ankle. He went on the field 2 plays after and hurt our running back, then hurt our other running back. Like, come on, man. Grow
Crazy
up.
world, right? Yep. So Brian Burns was actually like one of those top edge rushers from that draft class. So we got like Nick Bosa, Montez Sweat, and just off of like where would you rank Brian Burns in terms of like that draft class? Would you rank him like top 10 of that class so
bro.
far?
Come on.
Of that
No
draft class for
mentality.
edge rushers or just
No,
in
just like
general?
in general. In general, I just said edge rushers just because those were the first guys
Yeah.
off
Off
my
the
head.
top of my head, I'd probably put him top 10, top 15. As far as production so far, I'd say, yeah.
Oh yeah, I think he was definitely a Pro Bowl snub last year. I think he could have made it over Chase Young.
Do you think he's going to make it this year?
I don't think so. I
No.
think there's been a lot of other guys that have stepped it up, especially on the edge.
There's so many guys on the edge, yeah.
Yeah, let me think of his names that popped up. Chandler Jones.
Judon.
We're talking about NFC. But Marcus Davenport's been really good in New Orleans. I've been impressed with him. I think Buccaneers. Yeah, we'll think of stuff. But yeah, anything else you guys want to add on to our little rookie debate real quick?
Not really, to be honest. Yeah, the rookies have been interesting.
Everything.
Yeah. I think Jamar Chase is still leading that. The rookies have been bare though a little bit this year.
I mean, yeah, I think the biggest disappointment probably up to this point has been the rookie quarterbacks. I mean, other than the MVP himself, I mean, it's been pretty stale.
Yeah, I'd somewhat agree with that. But as we wrap up this latest episode of the podcast, we'll hit you guys with a little bit of an update regarding our fantasy teams. So if you guys want to take like a minute or two, pull up your fantasy team, we'll sort of give an update to how we're doing. Maybe give a team rundown, maybe a record rundown, and maybe remind everyone what the punishment was if they don't remember.
We will.
I'll start with my team. So we actually made a lot of moves in the last couple of days. So let me go check that. Made a couple trades.
Speak carefully about your team, please.
All right, I know. Just chill. So let me check. It's not waiver report, right? Gotta go to trades. Where do I go? Transactions. Where do I find all this, man? There we go. Okay. So one trade that we traded with one of our guys, Andrew Deppy. We traded David Montgomery, Chris Godwin, and James Conner. And we got DJ Moore and Aaron Jones. And we also traded with Dan. I traded him George Kittle and Devontae Smith for Dallas Goedert and Terry McLaurin. And I basically don't even play Goedert. I got Dawson Knox. So Kittle was basically, I just gave him away. And the biggest trade I'd say was getting Stephon Diggs and James Robinson for Tyreek Hill. I traded away the name man himself. We were Netflix and Hill, but now we're Diggs in a blanket. So we're looking pretty nice. We're sitting at 6-3 atop of a pretty sucky division, but my defense has been pretty lax. While I haven't been scoring a lot of points, the pep talks have been working. The boys have only allowed 987 points through 9 weeks.
All right. If I could just step in here, not to put some more toxicity into this, but man, Mickey Mouse is trying to act like his team is getting him wins. If I can pull up some stats here, I have allowed my 2-7 fantasy team has allowed 1,282 points up to this point in the season, while Nishant, leading his conference 6-3, has had 987 against him. So right from the bat, that just seems bad, right? Then you go for the points for, and my team, which was second last week in points, now has 1,167 points, while Nish has 1,038. This is taking a step back from last year, where I was the second most points in our league. If I can just show my team what's going on right now. While checking this, Lamar Jackson has less points than Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews. Lamar Jackson has 6.7 points,
God.
and Mike Gesicki has 0 points. On 7 targets, he hasn't caught one ball out of the
0 points on 7 targets. Wow. Okay.
I don't know what.
Jamar Chase has a bye week this week. I'd say you start Robert Woods.
He does.
I'm calling it a season, man.
Just don't
go ahead,
lose.
just do the punishment, because I think it's between you and Theo right now, honestly. And I do not think Theo would do that punishment. He's gonna find some way to get out of it, bro.
Oh man.
But if no one remembers what the punishment was, the loser has to buy like an inflatable doll and take it out on a date at a restaurant. And the winner chooses
my problem
where to
with
go.
this is the inflatable doll is going for $30 to $50. I could care less about holding a little doll.
You got
I
to
am
buy the
not
doll dinner
spending-
too. You got to buy the doll
Yeah.
dinner. Everybody eats.
Lord,
I
man.
mean, we may pitch in and help with the doll, but you got to pay for dinner at least.
I mean, I'll have 2 meals. I'm fine with that.
There you go.
All right. What about you, Dan? How's your fantasy team looking?
Team's looking solid. The only thing I worry about, we got Nick Chubb here with a COVID issue, and we got Dalvin Cook with a little domestic abuse issue looming. So I was telling Dalvin, I'm like, come on, man, like don't let that be a distraction. Just play the game. You'll be good. But we got
No, but
Jonathan
Dan,
Taylor. Yeah.
your bench could literally pass for like a starting lineup.
Oh, for sure.
Like, look at this guy's bench. If you keep Hurts, like his starting quarterback is Hurts. If his running back on his bench could be Gibson, Chris Carson, wide receivers could be Ridley, Cooks, and Judy, tight end Gronk, running back Chubb at flex.
That's my
That's
bench.
that's his bench.
Starting I got Jonathan Taylor, Dalvin Cook, Devontae Adams, Debo Samuel, George Kittle, who I traded. I don't know why I made that trade, but I just wanted a better tight end, and then I got AJ Brown there. So we're hoping for some guys to step up. We need Devontae Adams. He's due for a big week, so we need that
Yeah,
out
you
of him.
got insane pick with Debo Samuel. Let's see what you picked him. You picked him at
70, I think. 70.
Yep, you picked him at 70. He's what? The fourth
Wide
best
receiver
receiver
4.
right now.
Yep.
It's crazy.
So we'll see how it all pans out.
Yeah.
I'm 7-2, so I think I'm out of the punishment. But I want to be the guy that not only gets that money, but I think more importantly picks where the loser has to eat dinner.
Oh yeah, totally agree.
That's what I'm
But
in it
yeah,
for.
as we wrap up our fantasy talk, we just want to give a special shout out to everyone who's listened to every episode or just even one or two episodes. Just keep sending us feedback. We get tons of suggestions from our boys and from even outside people, from guys on my Washington page. They even give it a listen. And we make sure to implement all those into our weekly episodes. And again, we're pushing for 1 to 2 episodes a week. Should have a studio set up in the next couple of days. We'll get that set up Saturday. Obviously, Jad has a big game Saturday. You excited for that?
Yeah, man, it should be good.
Sir, we're going all the way down to the coast for that game. But yeah, as for Nishant,
Dan?
Yeah, money.
we just want to wish you guys a great rest of your day. Peace.
Peace.